Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Vaidyaji, go ahead.
Jai Kumar ji, namaste. Best wishes for the Yajur Upakarma that you did today. You can probably explain to the class a little bit about the significance of the Upakarma for those people who do not know. And then I have a question also on the last week's verse number 5. Mahabhutanyahankaraha buddhir avyakta evacha. So go ahead.
Okay. Yajurupa karma applies to a Vedic lifestyle. Only a person who is a product of this Vedic society, it applies to that person. So this Varnashrama Dharma is important in our society. Means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. Among those, this Brahmana, the requirements of a Brahmana is very, very high. A person who claims himself herself to be a Brahmana has a lot of responsibility in this Vedic society. And Anushtanam is there. Daily prayers, daily rituals and all are there. If you look at the list, this person can't even go to work. There won't be any time. His work has to be at home, basically. That is the original life of a Brahmana. Because that's a pursuit. Brahma janati. Brahma adhyanam karoti iti Brahmana. Person who is in pursuit of Brahma is a Brahmana. Correct? If I don't even know what Brahma is, then what Brahmana I am? Okay, word Brahma is there right in my title. Okay, in that Brahmana's title. And so that is how our society is geared towards. And it just prepares everybody for that. Hey, we all have to be Atma Jnana Abhimukha Bhavata Uttishtata, right? And how can I be Atma Jnana Abhimukha? That's how then the society develops. That's called a Vedic society. Vedic society is a society which gears its people to become Atma Jnana Abhimukha. That's one way to say it, correct? Because that is the goal. That is moksha according to us. So how can I become Atma Abhimukha? Well, I have to see Ishvara everywhere. I must be alive to Bhagavan, Ishvara. Everything I do, Ishvara must be there. And therefore, Puja Prarthana is a daily activity. The minute you get up, you have to get up saying some Prarthana or the other. Okay? And so, this is how the society has gathered. And it has become, it is so flexible also that it doesn't matter where you are born, to whom I am born, anything, whatever your tradition is, just follow that tradition. That's it. You don't have to worry. I don't know the Sanskrit. I don't know this. You don't have to say all that. Do you know one language or not? Yes. Mother tongue, do you know? Yes. Just go ask your parents what to do. They will tell you. Oh, game is over. And so that's how we have come. Now, this group of people called Brahmanas, they are supposed to be the caretakers of the Vedas. Veda Samrakshana. If I don't know the Veda, if the Brahmana does not study the Veda, teach the Veda, then how Veda is going to protect itself? They say, some people say Hinduism will survive because it will protect itself. I don't agree with all these arguments. It is a quiet way of washing the hands off, I don't have anything to do. Then Hinduism will take care of itself. And then it has to take care of me also on top of that. No, Hinduism will be taken care of only by Hindus. And so that Veda in particular is so critical because it is the source of our whole thinking process, and all the religious lifestyle has sprung from the Vedas. Okay. And therefore, what happens? every year, we have to reinforce our commitment to the Vedas. It's like a ceremony, right? It's like a birthday. What do you do by celebrating birthday and all? What is the greatness of a birthday if somebody asks? Yeah, what's the greatness of a birthday? In fact, I've become 1 year older. Is it a reason to celebrate 1 year older? Do we celebrate getting older? It should be called older day. It should be called. No, no, it's not older day. Okay, you become older by 1 year, all right. But enjoy all your accomplishments. Don't get lost in this life, okay? Enjoy. You're a great person. We all love you so much. Oh, really? You all love me? Yes. At least on that one day you hear all these things. Oh, really? You love me? Very good, very good. And so that birthday, that day is so important, so that we look forward to the future. There are a lot of people who are there behind us, and therefore it's supposed to strengthen us. The birthday celebration is supposed to strengthen us and say, yeah, that's right. I'm leading a good life, and I want to get even better. And I can I'm my friends are giving me a lot of ideas of how I can be better. And so next year I want to be better than this. Good. That's the way to celebrate our birthday, right? Same way here also. This Veda, it requires a lot of tapas. Only a tapasvi can really do what the Veda is telling us to do. Really. It from morning to evening it is tapas. It requires dhyanam, it requires japa, it requires doing the karma. The karma doing takes a lot of time. It requires keeping this agni, doing agnihotram. And so the grahastha, if the person really wants to be a brahmana, it's going to be very difficult. Those days it was easy, but these days it's very, very difficult. So Veda Adhyayanam has to be done. Veda Parayanam must be done. Veda Pathanam has to be done. Adhyapanam means I must be teaching Veda to somebody also. That is the responsibility of this Brahmana. And all that has to be done. So this one particular day, we reaffirm our commitment. Yes. Yajurshaka or Samashaka or Rikshaka and that person I am. I'm Adhyayi also. They say I am an Adhyayi. Means I am studying the Veda. That is a claim they're making. This fellow better at least memorize a few mantras, at least for the sake of saying I am a Vedi. Okay. And so those days there were Vedis, Dvivedis, Trivedis, and Chaturvedis. Can you imagine this? One Veda takes 12 years to study. One Veda. There are Chaturvedis. And this in a homa, in a ritual homa called homa, yajna, there are four types of people needed. Okay. Hota, Advaryu, Udghatru, and Brahma. Okay. Hota is a Rigvedi, Advaryu is a Yajurvedi, Udghatru is a Samavedi, and a Brahma. There's a guy called Brahma who plays the role of Brahma. His role is called Brahma. And this guy is a Atharva Vedi, and he's supposed to know all the four Vedas. He's Atharva Vedi, but he's a Chaturvedi also. And this guy, his job in the ritual, you know what it is? He's quietly sitting in the back while everybody is just doing the homa. His job, you know what it is? His job is to make sure everybody is doing properly. They did not swallow the mantras, some aksharas left out, some words left out, some mantras not pronounced properly. He will just point out. Okay, repeat that again. That fellow has to repeat it again. That's the authority he has. Those days it was like that. Today also there are people like that. And so that is the Brahmana, that the Chaturvedi is. And so today, at least one day in the year, let me chant some Vedas. Let me think of Ramayanam, Tapaswadhyaya Niratam, Tapasvi Vagvidam Maram Naradam Paripapracha Valmikir Munipungavam. At least let me chant that one shloka from the entire Ramayana, which is 64,000 verses. I don't know if in this Janma I can ever chant all that. But can I chant at least one shloka from Ramayana? Yes. Okay, keep that. Just make sure it's there. Bhagavad Gita, I've heard many people chanting. Do you know at least one mantra, shloka from there? Okay, keep one shloka. Upanishad. Yeah, Upanishad is there. I also always wanted to learn. Okay, keep a couple of mantras ready. Ashtadhyayi of Panini. Keep one mantra. Vriddhiradai. Keep it there. What about Maheshwara Sutrani? I un rilik a ong I ouch hayavara tillan nyamangana nam. Today I corrected the Pandit. He was chanting. We were repeating his chant, my father and I. I told him, corrected him. Then he said something and I said, okay. I said, I left it off. I didn't want to make it a big argument. So, Yamangana nam jabai gadadash jabagadash kapat kapa chatata chatatau kapai shashasar hal iti maheshwarani sutrani. Amazing. The Maheshwara Sutrani is just too amazing because it lists all the letters. They say it came out of Shiva's Damaru. Shiva just, during the dance, he did the Damaru like that, and out came the sounds. These Aksharas came from that Damaru, and from the Aksharas came all the words, and came the language, and then to which Panini just strung it all together and gave all these sutras called Vriddhi Radhaich, Adeng Gunaha, Ikoyanachi, etc. etc. Do you know all this? Don't, please. What do you want me to do? Tell me. Okay. At least I put this in front of you. Okay. At least repeat what the guy is saying. Okay. Do you know how to repeat? Yeah. I'm good at repeating stuff. Okay. Repeat. And then mantras are there. There Rishi Tarpanam is there. Deva Tarpanam is there. All these Tarpanas have to be done. Acknowledging this Pancha Mahayajna. Remember that. Pancha Mahayajna we already talked about. And this mantra, Sankalpa, there is something called Mahasankalpa here. It means this Mahasankalpa is very interesting. He says, Mamapata Samasta Durita Kshayadvara. Then Sankalpa is made. Means, why am I doing this? Okay. And this Sankalpa is a long Sankalpa. It tells me who I am. It tells who I am. Anadi Avidya Vasanaya Janita. I don't know the exact words. It says, this Anadi, beginningless ignorance, because of which I've had many births, and then Kenapi Punya Karmana. Somewhere I did some Punyam, it seems, and because of that Punyam, I got this birth, it seems. And so I am going to pray hard so I can use this birth properly. Like that and all it says. Anyway, to make the long story short, today is a day to reaffirm our commitment to study the Vedas and teach the Vedas. That is what today is meant for all of us. And we may or may not be able to study or teach because the system is not geared for that. So at least today we, where we change the sacred thread, etc. We change Pavitam. Today we change it. And so those of us who can't really do all these things, we have to at least remember that this is the day with which I'm reconnecting with the source, which is Veda. I'm reconnecting. Hey, my rishis all did that. I'm a product of this Veda, and our rishis they gave the Vedas. And so let me reconnect. And let me pray that when the time is right, let the time be right, so at least I can learn a few mantras. And I want to learn. So you start learning one mantra, then 5 mantras, then 10 mantras. Then I can say I'm really studying. And so may I pray that Bhagavan give me the circumstances, create the right situation that I can begin studying the Shastra. That's what this day is meant for, Vaidya.
Thank you, Jaykumarji. Yeah, so my own Upakarma, I'm a Samavedi, so it will come next month near around Ganesh Chaturthi day. So,
Correct.
thank you so much. That's a wonderful explanation. And then my question is on the verse number 5. I have Puja Swamiji's Bhagavad Gita with me here, the text, the book that Swamiji. So, in Swamiji's translation, Swamiji translates it as the 5 subtle elements: Hiranyagarbha, Samashti Buddhi, and then the unmanifest cause Maya. Like that, he says for that first line, Mahabhutan Yahankaro Buddhir Avyaktamevacha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a slight difference between what we said and what Swamiji said, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, to see if you can reconcile the two. Thank you.
Yeah. So I gave the translation that I picked up, I learned from Swami Paramarthananda. Okay. So, yeah, sometimes you will find some shades of different meaning. Will be there. Will be there. And the word ahankara is, the word ahankara came today in the Sankalpa. Mahat, ahankara, and then Panchabhutani, Mahabhutani, and all it came today in the Sankalpa. I was thinking, my God, just a couple of days ago we were studying it. Exactly in that order, ahankara word came. Okay. And so you can see that we're all studying. What we are studying is not separate from the Veda. That's why it's called Panchamo Veda. But yeah, so we should be able to reconcile it. That's why I said Mahat also, the translation we gave. In Kathoparishad, it has one meaning. Here it has different meaning. So it's all right if we have different shades of meaning. Nothing wrong with it. Why nothing wrong with it? Because it is talking about creation, a model of creation. And therefore, if you go this way or that way, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. So, because we are talking about a creation and we are not studying creation, really speaking. We're not studying it. For that, you can, science also can help in understanding creation. That's okay. Their model also we can accept. And so, here it's okay. If you have two slightly different variations, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Because now, otherwise, I'll have to get into a huge discussion of this Mahat and Ahankara and Samashti Manaha, Samashti Buddhi and all. And which is not needed right now. Yeah. Yeah. I thanks for the observation. I also noticed it that the definition was different. Yeah. Yeah. Haraprasadji, go ahead.
Mahodaya, I just wanted to say that I saw Bhagya Akula in the gallery picture. It's nice to see her.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's calling. She's back to US, Bhagya, isn't it?
Back, yeah.
Back to US. Yeah, she spent a number of days in India, many weeks.
Yeah.
Mother's passing and all Karyams were there. And her mother was a role model to all of them. Literally took care of the entire family of 4 children, I think, right? Bhagya? 5. 4. 4, yeah. And so, mother meant a lot to them. And father figure, mother figure, etc., etc. So, it was a time that they all could meet together. The entire family was there. So, I think she must have had a very fulfilling time, right, Bhagya?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good to spend time with the family, grieve with the family. Yeah.
So it's a chapter, it's a chapter, that big milestone. Big figure is there and suddenly the figure is not there. A void will be there for some time. And so we acknowledge their presence. And the void is probably created for us to remember them even more. Maybe I ignored her for some time. And so I should not have ignored her. And so I will now, her memory is going to be there, fresh, once again, fresh. It still continues to be fresh and strong. And so she made me who I am, correct? And so it's a time for us to appreciate all their sacrifices. Everybody, it's all life of sacrifice only. I think human story is a life of sacrifice. I can't think of any other way of saying it. Everybody, sacrifice only. Constant sacrifice. Parents always give up. Indian parents especially. Any parent. Why Indian parent? Any parent anywhere in the world. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. But sometimes push too far. Beyond, when they should not sacrifice, they should not sacrifice. They have to focus on themselves, right? Now focus on yourself. That's it. Over. Don't worry about them anymore. Are they calling you for help? No. Don't offer unsolicited help. Enough. They are there. They take care of themselves. They want help. They'll call you. And so there are parents who are role models for us. So Bhagya, your children doing well?
Yes, Jakumarji. Back to school. Both of them are back to school. Yeah.
Okay, were your children there with you in India or what?
They came for the ceremonies and all that. But school started, so they had to leave early and all that. So.
Okay, very good that they could come for some time. Very nice. Because you know what? In joint families those days, this birth and death is constant. Constant. Because big family. Some babies born somewhere. If not here, neighbor. And death also is coming constantly. Somebody is passing away. And so these rituals will be constant. And these children will be very good at all this. Means what should be done when something happens. They will learn. Even as children, they used to learn. Oh, so this you have to do, that you have to do. They will tell us. They will tell elders, you have to do all these things.
Yeah, we went to Kashi to do the Visarjan and all that. So my daughter came with us. She saw everything. It was all new to her, but I'm glad she has some sense of what happens, what our culture says, right, about death, and it was good. I think it was a very good experience for her.
I see. Yeah, for them it would be new, and I mean, for some of us also it should be new, because it's not like we have done these things. My father used to say, "Minna pinna sudugaattu ponadan theriyum." Means if you go to the cemetery only, you know what a cemetery is. If you've never been to a cemetery, what do you know about cemetery burning and all that? You don't know anything. Like that, my father used to tell me. So even Rama had a shock when his father passed away. He was in tears. He was crying. And it became a big thing for him. And he used to tell Lakshmana, Lakshmana used to tell, and he used to grieve. They used to grieve. Lakshmana, father is not there. Do you know father is not there? Like that, Rama asked him, do you know father is not there? Yeah, father is not there. And they used to grieve like Rama could grieve, we all, natural that we all will grieve.
Thanks for mentioning that, Jakumarji.
No, it's important. That is so important. We have to mourn. That's why this samskara, 13 days samskara, etc., is so important for us. So important, because that's the period when mourning happens. And then there is closure. See, we need closure on this. Otherwise, what happens? It will be lingering, and it's a thorn. Life is not meant to be like that. Okay, send closure, gain closure, complete. All careers are done, everything done properly. Yeah, all dhanam done. Yeah, dhanam is also done. That's it. So the Vedas says now you're free. You don't have to be bound by that anymore. You gain inspiration, etc. Do whatever annual Shraddhadi, please do. But you're free. Means you should not be bound by them. You should be inspired by them. But they should not drag you down. Drag you. Anything else? Yeah. Meera Narayan, go ahead. Thanks, Bhagya. Good to see you.
Good to be back. Thank you.
Guruji, on the significance of Upakarma, I had also read that in the Vedic life, the Dakshinayana period is dedicated towards study of Karmakanda, and the Uttarayana period is dedicated to the study of Jnanakanda. So today you restart study of Karmakanda, Veda. So that is why you change your Punal and reinitiate the study. That is what I had read somewhere.
And I read that before. I have to ask somebody about it. Because what exactly does that mean? I need to understand.
Right.
Because see, karma is every day. Karma is going to be every day. Or do they mean study?
Study Adhyanam.
Adhyanam also happens every day in the Veda Pathshala.
So today it's restart, so it's Veda Aramba.
Yeah, Veda Aramba, all right, but Veda Aramba doesn't mean you keep stopping. Otherwise, if you keep stopping, then Veda thing will not resume. So Aramba, yeah, Aramba of the next year, a fresh start.
Next time, and what I have read is that the other 6 months you spend on Upanishads and Puranas and all that study.
You know, our Veda people are also ignorant about Puranas and Upanishads. I mean, the people I talk to, they don't know. See, I gave a lecture. The Veda Padashala, once they locally here, they wanted me to talk. I was wondering, what am I going to talk to these people? That owner, they said, you know, they are doing a lot of karmakanda. They need to know a little more about the purpose of life and Upanishads and all. So I gave a very, very simple talk I gave. Then I found out that they don't know the basic Purusharthas. They don't know. The children, the older children who would soon be graduating from the Purusharthas didn't know. So I don't know, Narayananji. I really don't know what they mean. I have to find out. I need to spend some time to understand what exactly they do. And so, yeah, I've read it too.
This is what our Ramakrishna Guruji also mentioned once. Significance.
Okay. Yeah, so there must be some truth. There's definitely it is true, but I want to understand that better.
Maybe because they had discontinued the studies because of the rains and all, Chadar Masim and all, restarting. Maybe that one, maybe the reason also of as a new year. Not necessarily, but still, one thought is there.
What he had mentioned was 6 months is dedicated towards this, 6 months is dedicated toward that. So you restart, so that's why you start afresh.
Yeah, that might be the likely reason because stopping is not an option. Ramuji, stopping and all is not an option. It's not an option for us. And so they should be doing whatever they were supposed to be doing, all Vedikas. And
shopping means they didn't travel and all, teach and all. That's another thing.
Nothing will stop daily Anushtanam and Parayan. Okay, occasional travel may be there, but Vaidikas don't travel that much at all. Have you seen Vaidikas traveling? No. Maybe some travel may be there. They may be going somewhere to officiate rituals, etc. But travel is travel. What will happen? The problem with travel is their daily Anushtanam will get upset. You are in the flight in the middle of the day and you are supposed to do Madhyanik. Or flight in the evening. That is our morning when supposed to be. And 5 o'clock morning flight. What do you do? Or night time, 5 to 9 flight. This is a nightmare for a Vedika. This is a nightmare for a Vedika. Correct? Because 6 o'clock, 6:30, the mind will say, I have to do japa. And so they will not travel and all. If they have to travel, they will prepare themselves very clearly. They will have to plan it all. Contingency planning they will do. Yeah. That's the commitment they have.
Yeah, actually, Jaykumarji, in this context, I heard that the Sringeri Matham, the Acharyas, they travel only for 2 hours a day because of all the Anushtanams that they have to do.
Okay. I see.
So I heard that recently from Dr. Yagnesh Subramanian.
Yeah.
So when when the junior Shankaracharya of Sringeri went to Kashmir to inaugurate that Sharda temple in Titwal.
Yes.
So he went by flight because he could travel only for 2 hours a day.
Ah,
So that too, they had to arrange a flight in such a way it will take only 2 hours.
Yeah. You know, Ramakrishna Guruji, his daughter is in the States. He refused to go to States. He sent only his wife. He is also from Sringeri Matam.
no, this
So,
these Vedic people will shun travel. They will,
interestingly, the Muslims pray in the airports. If you go to international airports, no matter which airport you are, 5 times a day, there's people. I mean, initially they used to go to the prayer rooms. Now I'm seeing them doing it in the, as you're walking by, you can see people doing their namaz in the middle of the thing. I don't see Hindus doing it, maybe because they are conscious or whatever, but the Muslims seem to be doing it. They just put a blanket and they pray face the right direction and they do their prayers.
In
And I admire them for that.
Paris,
so
in
Hindus
Paris,
must
in the
be
Europe, lately there is a law they passed because these Muslims, they were in the highway, they're blocking the traffic, and then it has become a nuisance.
right. Correct. So yeah, all those issues are there. The modern governments have to deal with all these issues. But yeah, Hindus must at least when they're not traveling, they should do their anushthanas properly. Let's start with that first. Then we'll worry about travel.
So I wanted just to comment 2 things. One, thanks for giving me the hint to look at that chapter 7, 4, and 5 on Prakriti. That was excellent lecture. So I probably have to see it 3 times to understand all of it. But that was it was fully loaded slokas, I think. So those are very good. And then I started listening to it, and I godly got misdirected. I had to download Tattva Bodha and read Tattva Bodha because I couldn't understand all the terms. So, and that's how I found this chart that I posted on the group. So I don't know, it's a very, very useful chart. I posted a PDF that we found on the internet, but it's very interesting how they have. If there's anything inaccurate with that chart, please let me know. But it seems to cover everything that we discussed. So,
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's the way to study. So much out there, is it not?
yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Anything else?
Jaykumarji, when we talk this Stula, Sukshma, and Karana Sharira, Atma is totally different than this. Atma is like Paramatma here.
So, yeah, the minute you say Sharira, what are you saying? You are giving a form to it, right? You're giving form to it. Therefore, when you say form, that form has to be Anatma only. Any form is Anatma. Whether you call it Stula Shariram or you call it Karana Shariram. Because Atma is Asharira. Atma is Asharira. Like water in the ocean is Asharira. Doesn't have a form. Only you have to give a form by saying wave or some surf or this, that you have to say. Even ocean is a form. And so, correct. So Atma or Paramatma is what we would refer to when we are talking about, or Atma, Jiva is there, Atma. So that's how we differentiate Atma from everything else. Everything else will come in one of these Shariras. One of the Shariras. We can't hear you.
Guruji, when someone falls off their Nityanushthanam and they're not coming, they do it for some time and then it stops, like we talked about the Prarambha that we were talking about for various reasons. What is the cause of that? Is it the indiscipline in the mind, or lack of commitment, conviction on the part of the person, or bad karma?
So you're asking,
Hmm.
what causes a person to stop doing the daily anushthanams that have been going on for time immemorial? That is your question, right?
Yes, and Mr. Balaji said that Mohammedans don't have any problems with it. Whether they're on the highway or in the airport, they're able to do it. And we find excuses not to is something lacking in us.
See, it can happen to anybody. Even Muslims, there are many Muslims who won't do all this. Just because we see some Muslims on the streets doesn't mean all Muslims are like. Okay, among Muslims also you'll have people who are not really being Islamic, okay, or following Islamic practices. Number one. So the general question is why? Why does this happen? Yeah, primarily I will attribute it to lack of understanding. When I will do only where I have a value for. A human being will only pursue what the person values. Okay, this is valuable to me. Something X is valuable. And therefore that becomes a habit. It becomes a part of the person's life. And thanks to the colonization, we have been uprooted from our Vedic roots. It's a total uprooting. That is what the British wanted to accomplish. They accomplished that very well. And so what happens, we have created a population which not only not follows the Vedic mandates, but also questions the Vedic mandates and then puts the mandates down. So the problem is the British solved the problem completely by creating an entity which is neither here nor there. Just missile, that's it. And the person can't relate to Vedas. Person can't merge with any new civilization also. So, yeah, but general reason is karma. You can say karma. Karma is a correct answer for any question. Correct. And so, for us to get back, we have to study. We have to do Shravanam. There's really no choice. And so I met somebody who, I told you the other day in one of the classes, I said, I met somebody who, young man, okay, not married, young man, bachelor. He told me he lives in the US and he works in New York. I know him for a long time. And he said, Indian descent. And he said, Uncle, my generation, people of my generation, they feel like the world is going to come to an end soon. We don't have something to look forward to. He made these statements, etc. And guess what? Just last week, I heard this Vivek Ramaswamy. He's one of the contenders. He uses the same words. He said, we have a hunger in us and we don't have a purpose in life. We feel, my generation, he's 38 years old, and we don't have a purpose. We don't think we have a purpose in life. We need to bring back that purpose. Like that, he makes a case. Okay. And so, what do you do when somebody approaches us like that, approaches you like that? I feel I don't have a purpose. Then you have to start from the basics, is it not? Let's start from the basics. What exactly is wrong? And what does it mean to have a purpose in life? Let's talk about purposes of life. Okay? And like that we should bring. And then I told that person, that young man, you know what? If he had friends also who feel like that. So I said, if you want if you want to have discussions on this topic, once a month or whatever, I'm available for an hour. We can have a solid discussion every month. Okay. Because I did this with one group of college students for a full year, 52 weeks. I did it, and there was a total transformation in the lives of those people. I know we can make it happen, and so I told him that, and he said, "Yeah, that's a good idea." He said. So there is no substitute to that. I think we have to find forums, create forums where we can make this happen. Yeah, create forums. Invite people who can talk and invite, if we can't do it, we can invite somebody. Say, this is the forum. We're meeting every month and we need to know a little more. And on the one hand, we say Vedic civilization was a great civilization. On the other hand, here I am disconnected from it. How do I reconcile these? So have people talk about that topic. Then what will happen? Then you begin to see some magic happen. Slowly, people will begin to see the value of all these things. What is Vedas? What is so great about Vedas? We have to talk about all this. And so there is definitely a big opportunity there, I think, very much. What do you think so? There's an opportunity.
Absolutely. Maybe I should start collecting kids who have to be guided back to where there is a purpose in life, but it's not very well understood and confused with values that have come from outside, and the families have not been successful, especially where we live. So there are many, many lost children that way who need to be guided back. And if there is a forum and if you're able to guide us, sure, I'll gather a few in my neighborhood, in my neck of the woods, and see what can be done. It'll be good for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. If you have to meet once a month or something and have an open discussion on this, that'll be extremely valuable, in my opinion, because we can offer something to anybody. Different age groups will need different types of things, and different. They all look at the world differently. So
they should be mature enough to recognize what they want in life and things like that. If you get them too young, it goes over their head. And if you get them a little bit who are looking, you have to also find people who want to know and are looking. Then it triggers an immediate response, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Let's pray that something like that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a good thing. Thank you once again.
Very much. Listen to Sai Deepak on YouTube. He expounds this logic. Celebrating birthday shows our ignorance, since we are celebrating the birth age of Shariram, self is ignorance. Yeah, so Balaji is saying, based on what we've been discussing, celebrating birthday shows our ignorance. That's a dry thing. So, see, there are a lot of things we do that display our ignorance. Okay. Eating red meat displays our ignorance. Smoking displays our ignorance. Drinking Coke from morning to evening, 10 glasses of Coke, displays our ignorance. Because despite all evidence says that you should not be doing all these things. And modern science also tells you, but we keep doing all this. So there is enough stuff that we are doing that shows our ignorance. We just quietly look the other way because everybody else is doing the same thing. Correct? When everybody else does the same thing, then somehow it's all normal. I'm normal, you're also normal. Let's shake hands. That's how it works. But what I meant is, we are not saying birthday should not be celebrated. We are saying birthday should be celebrated. Yeah, it's a nice time. But let's refocus the purpose of a birthday. That's all I'm saying. And this, I'm challenging everybody, saying, can we look at it a little different? besides just going to a restaurant and having a meal with family? Can we do something else? Can we bring in a little? Can we bring some of these things? Every year, maybe create a tradition. Hey, every year we have to, once a year at least, we have to reconnect and ask ourselves, what does it mean to be a Hindu? What does it mean to be Vedic? Is there a connection between Vedic lifestyle and modern society? Or are the two separate from each other? We need to understand something like that. Give ourselves a challenge at least once a year, right? And so either we discuss it amongst ourselves or we have somebody else come in and then talk to us about it. That's it. That's one way to celebrate it different. But celebrate it. I mean, we should celebrate birthdays. I mean, I don't have anything against it. This group is a little different. So I'm just offering some different ideas. Balaji, go ahead. Any thoughts? That's what I meant.
No, that's fine. I was just saying that in jest because I was thinking, like, we're celebrating birthday and then we're talking that, what is self. We talk a lot about what is a self, and then we're celebrating birthday of the body. So, sorry, kidding ourselves is what I was just saying.
So anyway, life itself is based on ignorance. So therefore, we don't have to specifically say I'm doing this X because of ignorance. We don't have to say that.
That was just said in jest. So,
Good.
But
Okay.
the other thing was about Sai Deepak. You're talking about Vedas and how the British took that thing away. I mean, his entire logic in all his arguments, including the Sabarimala case that he argued in the Supreme Court, everything, he brings that logic in. I mean, if you're interested, if you haven't heard him, you can listen to him. But for anybody who has,
Yeah, no. We've been listening to him for the last 5 years, 6 years. We visited Coimbatore and we met him. We did one joint project also with him. But yeah, he's good. So he's written books also. What is the latest book he's written?
That book was so difficult to read. I tried reading it, but
was it difficult?
His English is almost impossible to understand.
Oh, I see.
India, that is Bharat.
India, that is Bharat. Correct. India, that is Bharat.
Jaykumarji.
Yeah.
Let alone the British people or the Muslims, 1,000 years they exploited and tried to destroy our culture. Even after independence, we had very difficult time to acquire the knowledge about Vedic culture. And especially my generation, when we were there, many times I wonder to learn our Vedas and our Samskriti, Sanatana Dharma, we did not have any opportunity. Number one, the priorities was different. Number two, accessibility was not there. Thanks to recent changes in our political system and also thanks to the IT information technology, where we can face to face, we can talk and exchange the views. And then a lot of new transformation is happening. And when I read so much in the internet and then YouTube and then Zoom, I feel that this is the next generation. This is our duty to pass on our Vedic Sanskriti.
Agreed. Definitely. We have a lot more opportunity today. And we can spend our time in better ways and more productive and ways in which we can discover our own past and our own selves. A lot of opportunities are there. Agreed. Veera Narayan, go ahead.
Dhanyavad.
Guruji, with respect to this ahimsa, most of the time we are able to understand when it is with is outside our body, and when something happens to our body by somebody else hurting us. But there are many cases where you yourself hurt because you start believing that it is your property, you can do it. You don't have a distinction. So sometimes the eating and sometimes what we choose to do with the body is himsa, but then we take it for granted. And sometimes we stretch it to that extent, like you are so disciplined with respect to the body that you don't want to hurt, and you want to be in a perfect, you want to try to not understanding the change, you want to keep it changeless. So you tend to get the mana and damba, all that interferes, because you start considering it is you due to ignorance. So where do you draw the line? Because there is over discipline sometimes and there is lack of discipline. So because of wrong understanding, because you go without eating a meal, taking it for granted, or you overfeed.
So it's a good question. So this is classic problem, classic conflicts we have everywhere, every time. How much of studying is too much studying? How much of playing games is too much playing games? How much of relaxation is too much relaxation? Etc. How much of hard work is really hard work? That kind of stuff question. So this comes only by, it's no different than learning to ride a bicycle. Learning to ride a bicycle is so difficult initially, right? Just falling is what that happens. Constantly falling, somebody has to keep on holding and running behind. This teaching somebody to learn to bike is the most difficult thing. If riding is difficult, then teaching somebody to ride the bike is even more difficult, because this guy has to constantly run behind and hold on, and then constantly going this way, that way. Until one fine day, just the person just keeps going. Then after a long time, he falls down. That is different, because he doesn't know how to get down. That is the next step, getting down. So our life also is like that. That's what I'm observing. Wherever you go, how to talk to people. When do you tell the truth? When do you sugarcoat the truth? Sugarcoat, Should I sugarcoat or should I not sugarcoat? Okay, how are you going to teach this to somebody? Only by practicing. But practicing, all right. But then how are you going to interpret the situation? Then that interpretation will come only by my understanding and my commitment to my value systems, right? And hurting the body by doing things, eating and drinking stuff that I know is not good for me, on the one extreme. Other extreme, health freak. And the thing is this, that is why Shastra is so important. Swamiji tells us a joke. Means story, real story. He went to the US, and somewhere he was invited to some city, Rutgers or someplace. And then he was staying in a hotel. And then it's 4 o'clock or 4:35, he left the hotel to go give the talk. And then they dropped him back. See, when he left the hotel, he saw a lady doing this thing on that bike. What is that called? In the gym, right? Treadmill. Okay, let's say treadmill. And then after 2 hours, he comes back. That lady is still on the treadmill. Same lady, yellow shirt, is still on the treadmill. 2.5 hours. Swamiji is saying, look, okay, you have to exercise yourself. Let's say because of some amount of exercise, your lifespan has gone up. It's gone up by 5 years. But then you spent 10 years to gain 5 years. That means you actually lost 5 years' time. 5 years lost, even though you lived longer. So what is going on? This balance is not there. Okay, having 100% health is not the goal of our life. Having a healthy life, pains will be there, this thing will come and go. That will happen. So don't get carried away by that. And make sure you have good habits, etc. And how can I say that? Because Shastram is there staring at me. If the Shastram is staring at me, then I will automatically become balanced. automatically, because the mind will not, it will just reject certain things. Okay, chalo, if it is not there, not there. Okay, I have to spend time on this. So yeah, it is not easy. It is not at all easy. And people do learn. I mean, many of us learn many things just by living and observing others and things like that. There is no rule that says this is how you can balance yourself.
There's no one shoe fit all.
There's no, and it's hard to the children. How do you teach all this to children? You have to give them some role-playing games and all. You have to make them do, so that at least they'll remember. Oh, there's something like this.
And the way every person interpret the situation also is based on a lot of preconditioning, experiences, attitude. So
Adults are the worst. Adults are the worst.
What is the worst?
Adults are the worst. Because they will say, oh, I'm doing it for you, so that, you don't be in trouble if I fall, sick and all that. But no, you're doing it for yourself.
Oh boy. All the family dynamics is amazing, is it not?
That is emotional atyachar.
Emotional himsa.
That's a good one. Emotional himsa. Remember that.
All right. So
Guruji, how does Shastram look at body piercing, killing and offering animals as offerings to deities, etc.? How does that kind of ahimsa, how do they justify that?
Good. Actually, this is a good point for us to, if you don't mind, postpone this discussion to the next class. Because good question, right? They say animal sacrifices and all that, etc. is there. So we will we'll bring it up in the next class. And if I don't bring it up, let's do a satsang on that. Is it all right?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraya Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.